Hello there, everybody. And now back to the regularly scheduled programming. Ghost Burb's back, Sam confirms we're live, and just like that, here comes Superstars. Hey, it's the Breaking Bad theme. Da-da-da-da. I know you can't see it yet, but soon you will. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Doodle-da-da. I just gotta correct my Steam input here. And if any moderator is conveniently able to update the category to Superstar. Alas, the online DDR machines are undergoing maintenance tonight. And thank you, Ghosty, for scooping up the stream category. How does that affect things? The fact that if the DDR, like, what does the DDR machine use for online connectivity? Is it like to send the high scores to a database of rankings? Da, 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 da. Okay, the eMuse cards just save your settings and cleared songs. Wow, that's cool that, you know, you can have customized settings like that. Because, yeah, that vaguely reminds me of the NFL Blitz game, that you could design your own plays on N64, put your plays on a memory card, and then plug the memory card into the cabinet and use your football, NFL football plays at the arcade against the strongest competitors that the scene has to offer. Off to a great start. Doodle-da-da-da. Yeah, now that, JJ mentioned he thought maybe he heard that, that Donkey Kong sound effect in the pinball music. And now I'm wondering if that very similar jingle is here in the game as the signpost. Oh boy, I don't want to get crushed. This is the opposite. I want to get crushed if I put on a platform and go up. It wants me to go super, but I can't. Ghost of Burb will probably go to the gym and run for like an hour. What did I just wait too long and all the platforms dropped out? Yeah, did you hear that, JJ? Doodle-da-da. Okay, that's what JJ was saying about same rhythm. Yeah. And I could put it up on the melody grid, which I believe so in the Metallic Madness video, I don't Oh, this is the room where you have to actually just use the enemies. Nice. Third Bruno is back and was in the meantime looking at Perfect Pitch comments. Quite an interesting discussion. So you probably saw that one commenter, and they left an itemized line-by-line, rebuttal of my video, which is fine. And I won't rehash them all, but I will point out the one about saying that, perfect pitch people rely on it. And I'm saying to myself, well, I don't think you need to rely on it. Why can't you just learn intervals like the rest of us? So I haven't seen any response to that, but I basically said, like, I don't understand why you think perfect pitch people have to rely on the ability. What am I... Does it want me to stick to the wall? How can I be messing with... I did this last week. Is it because I went to the upper route last week? Let's try the upper route. Yeah, JJ says you can jump again after a Badnik bounce. So do I have to jump off the wall? Do you only stick to a wall if you do a double jump? Eblo says, all you know is that Pitch Perfect is perhaps the worst movie you've ever seen. And I have bad memories of Pitch Perfect because Pitch Perfect was cited as a reason for canceling plans that I had made with a friend. We had made plans to hang out, and then she goes, oh, I forgot I was gonna go see Pitch Perfect with my sister. Okay. Oh. Trip the donut. No gameplay required. Ghost of Burbs going super. Making it look easy. Now, Sam reports that Discord removed the activity tab. And I can't say I've ever used it. I only have vague memories of seeing that thing and being like, oh, there's a whole mechanic I don't even know how to use or care to use. Do people actually use it? Have you ever used it, Sam? So yeah, there's a person commenting on the Perfect Pitch video. I think there's a Pokemon in the profile picture. And I think the username is Luzzing Out. But then, when you look at it in a different mode, it says light. So I assume that's only just light. It's gotta be. Because it's a person who's, highly critical of me. And, it's gonna be, I've always expected haters, but it's an interesting thing that, I gotta make it a point and a continued objective not to get riled up by some of these comments, because if I did, I would never get any sleep. I would never have a moment of peace. I have to write off certain comments as, okay, you're just being emotional and unreasonable. And describing all these adjectives about Alex Yard, the person. I just try to think of it as, I'm looking at the person's comment, and I'm like, alright, is there anything that's here that's kind of a good point that a bystander might see? And if yes, I ought to respond to it. But if it's just adjectives about Alex Yard bad, then I'm trying to resist even, engaging with those elements. But yeah, the Perfect Pitch video was not a video that I necessarily expected to get algorithm traction the way the Reggie video would be expected to, but At least a little bit's happening, so that's cool. Trip is so cute. I don't remember this gameplay area. This must be a different route from the last one I took. But no, I mean, I think it's good at a minimum that people are leaving, you know, passionate comments. And that perfect pitcheteer who gave the line-by-line reaction, I think it's a good thing. But yeah, I've never used the activity tab on Discord, because the activities that I use Discord for are SRB2 card. Ghost Verbs, wow. Got the specially rotating supersonic. That's wicked cool. Unless that's super trip. First try for that room. He's gonna go up, right? Oshima worked pretty hard on this level, it would seem. Spin dashes to automate me through the game. Still not used to the font of the numbers that pops up on enemies. It's so modern. Scrambled my way through. Staying alive, staying alive. Yeah, what the hell, just for kicks. Spice things up. Oh, and I gotta bring the YouTube feed back, because the stream re-began. Re-began. Alright. Yeah, welcome back, YouTube. Sorry, I had the YouTube chat closed since the stream restarted, the connection dropped. But hi, Shadow Ops. Is this the first easy one? I haven't done these in a while. I always like these, but... And I love this music. This is T. Lopes's special stage song. It's got the Sonic CD and Knuckles Chaotix special stage rhythm, which is awesome. I wouldn't want a standalone game based on these mechanics, but... Fallout. It's nothing to grab onto. It is so adorable, the White Trip, and really all the characters. Wow, I got all except one. Forgot about that. Yeah, Kyo says, the Gray Emerald is usually one of the last ones. Didn't get it done this time. I think making it so that Trip can't... I think it was a good call to make it so that Trip can't continue going on the wall on edges and then snap to the, like if I'm on this, I can't automatically go to the ceiling. I would have to jump and then do a double jump. And A, it might make the game too broken if you could do that, and B, it would probably take a lot more bug testing to make sure Trip could just automatically snap to new surfaces on a 90-degree angle. Edlo says, ooh, look what I found. That Trip doesn't have the real spider ball. Is that a Pokemon bit? Spider ball. Now, is it in my interests to ever spin in midair like that? Oh, maybe that's just to attack an enemy. I love the way this magnet shield looks, though. Ah, the Metroid Spider Ball. Okay, to stick to walls and ceilings. Have I never gotten that? Is that the one in Super Metroid? It's like behind like a wall of sand. Okay, JJ says Alex ain't touched any Metroid game with the Spider Ball. So... oh, is that a Metroid Prime thing? Is it not in Super? I wonder what item I'm thinking of behind the wall of sand. Okay, yeah, JJ says that it was in Metroid 2. And all the primes sticking to those walls. Is this the final boss? Took me too long to get here. But it's because the stream dropped. Yeah, so I wonder which item am I thinking of? You know, I'm still feeling that it's a 10% chance that it is in Super Metroid, behind that wall of sand. Because that's a move I don't think I ever got on any of my save files. That was too careless, I'm sorry. Oh, I stuck to the wall up there. Surprised I didn't die by camera. Nice, JJ finished Metroid 2 last week. It's an incredible game, and I believe you. I'm gonna have to try again. With Metroid 2. It didn't grab me, but... I was playing it on smart. So, I'm at the boss at least. And, no. And JJ is also having a blast putting together the rest of Ashura. Hell yeah. Getting those enemies to glitch. And more. Bang's back. I'm sure that PBR64 is still grateful on a daily basis that they brought back Bang, because that was his running gag even way before they announced Superstars. Bring back Bang, you cowards. It worked. I guess I'll use the avatar for the dive bomb segment. Just this. It worked flawlessly. Edlo can't wait to start cooking that turkey and have it be done by the time this boss fight is over. Dude, all the little trips running are so cute. Wow, I got 26 rings back in honor of the Affordable Care Act. 26 is the new 18, unfortunately. Missed the bus. Alright, so what lesson did I learn from that? Is that I have to start generating momentum and make sure I'm constantly moving towards Fang whenever possible. Sigh. EB's in the house confirming that Metroid 2 is quite solid. Alright, see how I'm staying semi-close? Almost hit my forehead there. Keo welcomes EB. I welcome EB. Missiles are adorable. The true 3D physics that they use to get to Trip. Return time. Sam wonders how EB streamed. EB streamed? I missed EB's stream. You catch the next one. I'm too nervous to do that. Too nervous. Nice, Sam even helped EB along the journey. Very cool. I hate how Fang takes so long to start that next attack. That was ridiculously close. EB was mostly getting stuff set up. Very cool. Exciting new chapter of EB streaming Mega Man games, I'll guess. Yeah, EB wonders what capture card and upscaler JJ uses. I've never have been aware about upscalers for streaming. Right now, it's just been Ape Escape as of lately, but nice. You're down for doing some Mega Man and also Mega Man Battle Network. Alright, I can't afford to skip that attack where he comes down from the ceiling. It's too much of a brutal slog, so I need to master that. And then do I have a thing to slow down time? That could be useful. Wow, Ghost Burp says if I beat this, I'll get 1,000 bits. That's a lot of bits. I better be in the zone. Alex Yards. JJ's got the specs. Oh, I don't need. I didn't see if it hit him or not. Ah, did you see that missile going toward the camera? So, wow, those missiles truly do track you dynamically. That's kind of cool. Oh, and I missed one thing that EB said. I'll look at it in a sec. This is something I can use, isn't it? Wow, I did that clumsily. So EB had a dream that I was reacting to some Sony presentation live on the air, and they announced a new Ape Escape. EB might watch the zone a bit too much. I bet you the reason that happened is because you were... When you saw the Ape Escape thing in the Metal Gear Solid trailer, it was here at the zone. And, like, to see any form of, like, canonical, new, even if it's just a little bit in a trailer, but knowing how much Ape Escape means to you, that makes sense. That seeing that ape smack its own ass in the Metal Gear thing was so momentous that you had a dream about it. So yeah, I attribute that showing up in your dream to Ape Escape rather than the zone. And maybe it's a sign that I should probably find a way to play Ape Escape. Sam wonders which version of MGS3 is Ape Escape in. I'm pretty sure it's in the original, but not the remaster in the Master Chief Collection or whatever the hell it's called. What abilities do I have? Slow down time. What I should have been using. I used this song in the Superstars video when I was talking about Cybershell. I figured it was like a nice, chill, slow down tempo thing. EB confirms that I have my Ape Escape appearances in MGS correct. Ghosty has the specs for streaming apparatus. Alright, phase 2. 4 rings. Now, is this robot always the same? Is it the one at Cyber Station that changes based on the last robot you used? I was focusing on getting my rings back. So he can alternate between the webs and the missiles, I guess. I choked. But there weren't any good angles. Ooh, that was too close. So I guess all of the Motobug hits that I get just count as hits, right? So technically, maybe a person could beat the final boss only by getting Motobug hits, because he blinks white, just like, it's not like he would have two separate and here's back-to-back Motobugs. Now, are there new attacks I need to worry about? That was a little... See, that's the thing with that part, that you can loop all the way around, and then you have to deal now with... Oh, you gotta be super behind him. Damn it, dude. Gotta get all the way behind, but I'm still alive, and I got 3 rings. Son of a bitch. Alright, so what happened was that I was reinventing the wheel. So I'll try this at least one more time. I may need to cancel Cow Kangaroo. We'll see. We'll see. But I appreciate your understanding, Sam. If I cancel that today, we'll do it soon, somehow. We'll find a way. But with the dropped connection, it kind of set us back. You know, I'm going to have to edit the Sonic 3 controversy video, you know, tonight, so... the lesson I learned just now is that, you know, I shouldn't come to a stop during those spiderweb parts. I ought to keep moving, just the way I was. Keep moving plenty speed, but then slow down during the aftermath. The aftermath, when he's shooting those missiles, that's when you can afford to slow down without running so fast that you're going to loop back around to the Peter Parker spider webs. Guitar. Thank you, Trip Army. All the trips. One of the few magical aspects of this game, the great 100 avatar power. It's very memorable, and it looks really cool in the opening animation, I gotta say. Another pro tip is waiting on a hill like this. And then, yeah, EB was explaining, upscaling is... Wait, where's the enemy? Oh, he's got missiles. It's upscaling for retro consoles that output lower quality signals to look better and be more compatible on modern displays. I had no idea that was a thing. So it, like, makes Sega Saturn footage look better. Insta-kill. Insta-kill. Look out for the insta-kill. Oh god. Somehow I survived that. Hey! Did I just miss it? Alas. 5 missiles now? I thought it was only ever 4. That was fun. JJ Scaler smooths out the 50 hertz and makes it look 60. Is it because if you try to stream at legit 50, is Twitch not set up for 50? It's got to be 30 or 60, so it like loses or duplicates certain frames or something. I can't believe I survived that. Slow down on deck. Cybershell music. JJ holds his line on hertz counts. Whoops. Yeah, I should probably be spin dashing. I'm nervous to do it. Phase 2. So I guess I'll if I die, which I'm gonna beat it this time. But if I didn't beat it this time, I'll do one more attempt. This is brutal. I really felt like I was gonna beat it, and I still could. Thank you for the good luck wishes, Sam. I wonder if what I'm doing affects which attacks he'll do. Like if I move slower, will he not do the webs? So far, so this. Cute moto bugs from Sonic 1. You know, there's part of me that likes the fact that this game is so hard. I know I get so mad at it. But on paper, I can appreciate it. A little. It's a bit excessive. Don't get me wrong. Don't get in ideas ocean. Made it all the way around, didn't run out of space. And I don't know if this boss has, like, new attacks that start kicking in once you've gotten more hits. So I need to be ready for any. It's so demoralizing, right? Okay, so ask and I shall receive. What I was not prepared for was the 4th spiderweb. Right? Exactly what I was saying. Famous last words. Does this boss do any new attacks when you get deeper? And the answer is yes, he does 4 of those spiderweb attacks. Alright. This is the last attempt for today. There's the Burbs thinking it through. JJ's ready to declare. This boss sucks, by the way. I don't hate it, but I totally understand the sentiment. I always liked the final boss you face as Sonic. So dumb. I shouldn't have waited. I was like, I don't want to use it too soon. And I used it too late. Last chance. As you know. ED is looking forward to play this. As it seems interesting. Some of the design choices they made. You can stick to walls as Trip. So there's 2 special powers, whiffed. Two and a half dimensions. Anything is possible. Except moving on a Z-axis. But yeah, apparently this game is $30 now. At least it was physical. I saw it at Target today. Slow down. So slow. It's so slow. Hey, what's up, Seven, over on YouTube? Seven is glad that physical games still exist. Yeah, now that I believe they maybe stopped selling them at Best Buy. And so Target is scooping up that market share. Physical games. I saw the Mario poster at Target and I felt bad. For Kevin. Yeah, EB says EB can actually respect the gradual price decrease that Sega does on their game. And you'd imagine they'd still make a decent profit on titles. Yeah, dude. Sonic Frontiers price certainly shot down. Not all that slowly. I'm in the zone. My final attempt, the Hedgehog. And Third Bruno just picked up a physical copy of Skyward Sword HD. Yeah. Osterberg's got a non-GameStop store very close by. They do new, used, and retro. Sounds like a cool spot at that game store. What does this boss take? 14 hits? Damn it. Missed my free hit. EB is reminded of Sonic Rush bosses. They have these kind of circular arena gameplay mechanics. Gotcha. What have I done? That was close. Get on behind him. Free hit. Say free hit. Third Bruno thought that bit looked cool. Two rings back. Run, run, run. I gotta focus on the rings. Staying alive. Sam has this to say. Bull. So that's a late fight attack. That was really misguided of me to spin dash. I don't know what I was... I guess I was spin dashing because I thought I was going to have to get behind him. Alright. Seven over on YouTube is asking, are you also Pariah69 him? No, I'm not. What would give you that impression? That guy hasn't shown his face around here in a good while. Yeah, Third Bruno was talking about Skyward Sword. I'm not gonna try it. I'm gonna not put you guys through too much in one day. Yeah, I think I forgot about that. Easy to say now. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into the Silent Club. Over at the Zone. See a trip. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to cancel KO, but I need to find a better... It was not a good... You know, we could have done it, but it was also, I realized, not the best idea to do Sonic and then, okay, Cow, and then back to Sonic for the discussion. Seven says, similar presence. Did not know that there was history there. Yeah, that guy used to come to these streams until he didn't. So let me pull up today's request from the one and only Serious Sam. Ooh, I've heard of this series, although I've not truly played any of the games. Get a load of this.
But when...
Hopefully it's not too loud. Does it start soft, or do I need to... Oh, there we go. So I got new headphones, earbuds. Nice, Vector's got it right off the bat. It's the opening of Fallout 4. And Third Bruno had the instant recognition. Oh boy! Third Bruno's cousin has played this over at Third Bruno's house. And so Bruno has heard it a lot. Ghost of Burb has an earbud moratorium for the next year. Is it because of the new piercing? Shadow Ops thinks that Hockeyman 64.5 has his own channel. He sure does. It doesn't have Sonic anymore, I'm told. Wow, did it just do the Sega jingle and the music? pull up some
Hey, it's me.
gameplay here. It's gameplay with a twist. It is Fallout 4 and all, but you have to figure out what's up with this gameplay. So there it is. This sounds a little bit like the Hades theme, going minor third, major third. Alright, yeah, Sam says, warning for blood, there may be violence on screen, everybody. Wow, Evie heard that Mr. Hockey tried out all the Mario games, but it didn't go so well. Well, there was that video I saw that someone shared on Discord. It was this guy who saw Hockey Man's video. What was it? That he was trying to play Sonic like a Mario? I don't know. I always caution everyone everywhere to never get worked up in your reactions to his content, because I'm not saying that he's trolling, just that he has such a resume of being unreasonable that it's just not worth, right, to strain your brain to try to make sense. How could a person think this? Again, it's not that he's trolling, but at the same time he might be. And if you can't distinguish, genuine content from a troll angle, well then you might as well just regard it as troll tent. JJ says that very guy is reacting to my content at the moment. You're saying Hockey Man is streaming right now and he's reacting to my... Is he reacting to 25% or something? Oh, okay. The dude who roasted Pariah. So he's reacting to my content? Is he streaming currently? Should I do a live reaction to his reaction? And then he can react to me? Reaction recursion? Yeah, what do you mean by that, JJ? Sir Musty? Because, yeah, I see Sir Moristy. That's the second channel where Hockey got roasted. Is that his first channel? Musty? Yeah, Ghost of Burb says time for a raid. Is my infamy growing because of my second channel content? Oh, is he streaming on Twitch only? JJ says the stream is over. So then there would be a VOD. Yeah, am I going crazy? I'm looking at this guy's Twitter, but... Sorry, his Twitch. And it's a great many days ago. Wow. Okay. So JJ says no VOD. Is that by design? So is he responding to the 25% video, maybe? What else could it be? What have I said lately that's controversial? Maybe the Reggie video? It's got to be 25%, right? You know, and if he's going to tear into that, he's probably just going to say all the same things that people have said in the comments. And I know I got to do my part 2 video. So I would say it would be a good thing if that guy just kind of parrots the common responses that I've gotten in the comments. EB says that he gives a fair critique. Not sure if I'd stomach the humor. Like his style of humor. Okay. All right, so he's watching the original composition related stuff. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say anything until I know, right? But if he's watching Malachi's video but not right, I'll wait and we'll see. You know, as always, he may just be handing me an easy outline for a second channel video. That's how I always think about this. When I make my videos, they're somewhat provocative. I'm almost egging people into responding because it will only get the word out. I want the word about my original composition video to get to as many people as possible because, anyway, I'm not going to summon those vibes. In the meantime, I think here's the last thing I'll say on that. I think why I'm upset that the Malachi video would be included is because I responded to Malachi's video in a live stream, and then Malachi pinned a comment linking to my response. And it was just, Alex responded, here's the link, do not harass him. And I was like, great, that's all I could ask for. And then I returned, you know, a month later, and the pinned comment is down, right? I'm not going to share bad vibes, but that's a problem. That is, you know, blindsiding me, giving me the illusion that I've been able to respond, and then taking that away. EB says maybe not as findable as a dedicated video. All I really meant was that when I did my Malachi response, Malachi was there, and shortly after my response stream, Malachi pinned a comment on Malachi's video. Okay, so JJ says the word is that he was doing a live Alex Yard marathon. Alright, so if that was one of many things he looked at, I would be fine with that. Yeah, that, you know. Oh, right, yeah. EB. Yeah, I just that Malachine. If a person looks at that Malachine video only, that's a problem. That's the only reason, right? But yeah, and then JJ was told, 90% of that dude stuff is just him needlessly ragging on people's stuff. So that's something to keep in context. Oh, and I think let me go back to the actual. I think it went to the next request. Dominant Species soundtrack. Is that a expansion or something? Did I get the wrong window closed? Now, I couldn't bring myself to even watch that Pariah Reacts. Yeah, so JJ says that this fact was presented to you as a warning, and JJ said, I would be delighted that my stuff is being reacted to. And by and large, that is my take. That's what I wanted all along. So if it was a marathon, that's totally different. And it's interesting that guy has a reputation for just needlessly ragging on people's stuff. I say that because I wondered that that's going to be an accusation, that I'm going to have to deal with. Because that Perfect Pitchateer earlier today was saying, like, oh, this whole video just seems like you're jealous of Perfect Pitch, so you want to tear it down to make yourself feel better because you can't have it. And it's like, no, not at all. So I think people are, I don't know if anyone had their, when they, instead of responding to the video, they try to psychologize me, with the Reggie video or whatever else. But yeah, I couldn't bring myself to watch his Pariah reaction like I was saying before. It is... To try to make sense of his commentary in places, it's... Anyway, I already explained it. Sorry. EB wonders what he reacted to. We don't know for sure yet, but apparently it was a marathon of Alex Yard content, and it at least included something Malachine. I don't know if it was my Malachine response or Malachie's video. No, it was Malachie's video, as JJ said. But anyway. Right? And in a worst case scenario, I could do some kind of response. And that's kind of one of the things that I've always thought about for doing these discussion videos, is that I can make a video about a topic, like, quickly, as it happens. Like, the King K response video I did was 9 days after that King K video came out. I put my response. Right place, right time, I could turn around a video in just a couple days. EB liked an explosion on screen that he saw. Is this a different game entirely? Oh no, this is... It says Fallout London. So are these... So this is what? The Fallout 4 engine, but someone created a Fallout 4? Yeah, a mod, as Sam says. Keo has explosion inquiries. This looks like Half-Life all of a sudden. It's got craft beers. EB says he does get a little overworked up. Like you said, yeah, the guy reacting to Pariah, yeah, it's a fool's errand to look at his stuff and say, how could someone think this? I want to live in a new era where you can point at someone's, bogus take and say, like, yeah, based on what Pariah has said about Sonic CD, his credibility is damaged. EB personally finds the meat of his critique fair, though. The guy critiquing Pariah, yeah, I'm sure his commentary makes perfect sense, but it's just that the unique animal of Mr. Hockey is not worth pulling your hair out. What was he thinking? Type of vibe. Vector explains that Fallout London is a full conversion mod of Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition. Okay, and then, so that reminds me, another thing I saw at Target, okay? Monday, February 17, 2025, I went to Target to the video game section and saw on the shelf Sonic Cross Shadow Generations Day 1 Edition. EB says, what about people changing? What do you mean? Like, Hockey Man could change? Dude, today, tomorrow, a month from now, at any time, Hockey Man could, for example, reassess his bogus opinions on Sonic CD. So yeah, maybe someday he'll grow up, but... Right. Until they atone, their credibility is twirling down the toilet. I wonder how fast the Reacts guy has a turnaround. Sir Musty. I'm looking at his YouTube channel. He's got 8,000 subscribers. And the description says, Waffler Extraordinaire. Alright, so this is the modern gen, you know. Interesting. EB had a whole fiasco with Shadow Gens on day 1. Wow, look at these Half-Life 3 skin textures. No more news about HL3, right? Now this looks like the Star Wars planet with sand on it. Those Pueblo buildings. EB is impressed by this here mod. Tatooine, says Ghost of Burb. I believe that's the one. And why have I been thinking about Star Wars lately? I saw at least one YouTube short about... I think it was Carrie Fisher and... what's his name? Mark Hamill talking... It was after the second movie, Empire Strikes Back. And they were overtly talking about, like, yeah, so the third one is going to be something about the Jedi coming back. And then he talks about the prequels. So I guess they knew about the plans for the prequels even back then. This is making Ghost Bird remember that you gotta finish your Bo-Katan cosplay. Boston Star Wars Con is coming up. I'll be there. I'm just kidding. My con debut will be at, I don't know, PAX East? Too Many Games East? Sam watches this YouTuber, this Fallout modder. Alright, good loot. Wow, we've been watching this for 20 minutes. Okay, EB says they knew about the prequels when George Lucas named Empire Strikes Back as V. Oh wow, and Ghostaburb says Charles Martinet is going to be at TMG this year. His lines are always busy though, I imagine they are. And especially now that he's a canonical certified Mario ambassador. So Empire Strikes Back was... Oh, so when Empire Strikes Back came out, they were already calling it 5. Kyo beckons the call to all gamers. The lone wanderer needs your help to turn on the water purifier, or he'll get owned by rads. EB says Lucas had them in mind with A New Hope, but there were concerns that it wouldn't do well and wouldn't get a sequel, so it was just called A New Hope. That's why the Death Star is in the first movie. Yeah, I guess I don't know my history of Star Wars, because when the movie came out, it was just called Star Wars. I assumed that the New Hope name, I guess if I didn't know any better before today, I would have said that they only came up with the name The New Hope once they started doing the prequels. But maybe it was a lot sooner than that. Okay, so it was when Empire came out. Interesting. Interesting. So they really were thinking that much ahead. Okay, so it was Star Wars. Yeah, when it first dropped. Alright, so I'm just going to take a 1-minute break. I'll leave the gameplay on. And then we'll dive into some Sonic Movie 3 controversies, which is, of course, controversies applying the spawn wave definition, which is just that it's a topic that at least one person objected or pushed back on. So this is time for Ghostaburb to take off, so have a good one, Ghostaburb. Whether it involves DDR or not. Vector didn't see those movies when they came out. And so you're never truly sure about what was originally there and what wasn't. Sam says, me too, Alex. You too what? Sorry, I forget. But I'll be back in a minute. Got my water here. Oh, you gotta go. Alright, Sam, have yourself a great evening. See you later. Sorry about... Yeah, I'll make it right. I'll make it right. I feel bad about Kale Kangaroo. But we'll figure something out in the near future. Be back soon. Yeah, which movie is it where... I don't know if it's the first movie, New Hope, but is it Han Solo is walking and talking to Jabba the Hutt? And in the original theatrical release, Jabba was just a human. But then in the redo, they put in, you know, a big slimy worm creature to be Jabba. Or Boba Fett. One of those two. I don't know the lore super hyper well. But we are going to have some Dynamite Shadow Generation speedrunning gameplay on here for today's symposium. Oh, okay, yeah. So EB says it is from A New Hope, and they had cut that scene from the OG, but then added it back with the CGI big one. Yeah. Well, deleted scene got new life. Shadow gameplay. And I know Sam took off, but thank you once again for the request. Sorry I was distracted by that guy reacting to my content. I had to like do a double take when JJ said, "Oh, he's reacting ATM." I'm like, "Wait, that's as we speak."
This game, and they plan on like redubbing. I think they have a voice.
Mutazes. This YouTube channel is called The Stelmo Show. And I guess I don't know if this is, you know, modded or tool assisted or what, but here it comes. So I'm going to make it so that the gameplay takes up the space. And I might as well get this to 1080. Yeah, EB says, he's a speedrunner. You're perhaps familiar with his content or just noticing the, Actually, I'm going to make this a little smaller here so that it's not cut off. Nice. EB sees his shorts on your feed often. Oh yeah, it's not going to hit the top. It's going to be here. All right. So that's there. Just got to put the attribution. All right. So I got no audio in the back. I'm broadcasting loud and clear. I think we're I'm going to go to 720 though. Still 60 frames. Okay, and EB saw that this guy, this speedrunner, did some kind of collaboration with Pariah. And so EB had his wires crossed before, yeah. All right, I think we're ready to start. Well, here we go. the first thing you're going to hear me say in this video is Sonic Movie 3 had its fair share of controversies. And look, you can't please everyone. And when you do, it results in a more boring product. So today we're going to take a sweeping look at the great many issues that came up in the promotion cycle and upon the release of Sonic Movie 3. And look, you saw the thumbnail, guns are back. Guns are back. Guns went away for a while, and there's some people that want to keep them out of content, but they're back. And I think Sonic Movie 3 went about firearms perfectly. We didn't necessarily need to see Shadow taking shots at moving targets, but just him epically holding one on his motorcycle was one of a million reasons that you jump up in your seat in the theater at the realization that, yes, Sonic Movie 3 is so much better than Movie 2. And having seen a grand total of 0 guns in the Mario movie, I can only applaud Sega for not getting brushed around in the wind by the storms of current events. Art is art. The human experience is what it is, regardless of the tides of the moment on social media. Keo says, nobody remembers Robotnik holding Amy at gunpoint in Adventure 2. I'm going to put that in. And here in the live studio audience, Keo says that nobody remembers Robotnik holding Amy at gunpoint in Adventure 2. So now you have a great reason to replay Sonic Adventure 2. Now, I'm recording this live in the studio, and on the other side of the plexiglass, I can see the audience, and now I'm recording this live in the studio, and I have an audience on the other side of the plexiglass, and I can see their chats. Keo says, and hello, Only Just Light. Do any Mario games have guns? Yeah, I mean, if anything, I'm just having a little fun with that one. I think most of what's going to be discussed today is just kind of lighthearted fun. But I'm glad you've been exercising your muscles on the Perfect Pitch video. Welcome to the chat. I'm glad you're here. Okay. Now, there are some people out there who think guns are a big deal that should be kept out of PG-rated kids' movies. Sega doesn't stop there. Paramount doesn't stop there. Dude, the whole main plot and conflict of this... The whole main plot and conflict of this movie is Gerald Robotnik wanting to kill all of humanity and himself. Guns are a simple warm-up. Now, there was very vociferous pushback from Matt Walsh specifically about this total annihilation plotline. And Matt Walsh was probably waltzing into the theater holding his rosary and counting up the beads, so it's no surprise that he could not vibe with the edgy, jarring plot points that are integral to the Sonic series. It's safe to say Matt Walsh has not played Sonic Adventure 2. Matt Walsh really hated the movie. And he criticized the crowd that he saw surrounding him in the theater because to him, it was inconceivable that there would be entire groups of adults that would come see the movie and be hyped about it and shake their fists and pump their fists in the air with excitement at this or that hedgehog changing a different color at the end. And he kind of likens those adult Sonic fans who are still just as excited, if not more excited, for the movies than the kids. He likens those groups to Disney fans, stuck in a state of stunted adolescence that they go to Disney World without any kids in the equation and interact with the park in the same way that they would have when they were 9. Just with a more deluxe adult vocabulary, but same mechanics. So I'm here to say that I do not believe in guilty pleasures. Anything I like unapologetically, and that includes the song Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus. I feel no guilt of my enjoyment from that song. Okay, but for all the Jim Carrey and Keanu Reeves and Miles Teller Prower in this movie, despite all that, Sonic Movie 3, infamously or famously, was not nominated for the Best Picture Oscar. And I think at this point, the jury's still out as to why Sonic Movie 3 was not nominated. Some people think that it may have been ineligible for Best Picture because it didn't tick enough boxes on the racial spreadsheet where you have to have a certain diversity quotient in order to even be eligible for Best Picture. I guess that doesn't apply to other categories, but Best Picture has to have that diversity quota met, which I assume the Oscars sends out a spreadsheet to all the studios where they just enter the quantity and races of everyone on staff, and then the spreadsheet calculates it with an overall thumbs up or thumbs down if they've met the required prescribed mandatory standards. Dem Rupees is in the house pointing out that the Mario movie has the de-evolution gun. Remind me, what was the mechanics of that Mario movie gun? Okay, and as quick as people want to get blaming DEI and wokeness for keeping Sonic Movie 3 on the sidelines from the Best Picture discussion, guys, it also could just be as simple as Paramount didn't submit it for... Guys, it could just be as simple as that Paramount did not submit this particular feature film for consideration for Best Picture. Okay, Demropi says the original movie, the 1993 film, Koopa de-evolved people. So what, would he point it at a Homo sapien, and then after it does its magic, what you're left with is a Homo erectus? JJ says, it's Sonic Movie 3. It's not that good. Jeez. Who thinks it deserves Best Picture? I guess the pushback is that it was not even eligible for Best Picture. I think that fans generally understand that it didn't have a Candles Hope in Hell. Actually, Candles Flourish in Hell. Anyway, yeah, people maybe understood that it didn't have a legitimate chance, but to just be even technically ineligible up front, it's like, hey, what's the matter with our Hedgehog film that it's not eligible? Yeah, EB says it got pretty snubbed for family film and things over Mufasa, which was what much worse. I didn't realize there was a family film category. I know there's a family game category for the Game Awards, but yeah, and I wonder, I guess it wouldn't count as an animated film, being a live-action CGI hybrid, but... Yeah, Keo can't take the Shadow and Guns critique seriously when Tails has been using a laser gun since movie 2. And even action figures of Tails come with the gun. Isn't that something? And hi, Otto, yeah. I didn't beat Fang today, but I got closer. I got to his final cheap attack. Now, Matt Walsh was not the only person to file a grievance with this movie. I'm sure you guys all saw the thing with Grace Randolph showing up in your Twitter feed, too. Grace Randolph took a quick glimpse at the Shadow and Maria dynamic and objected on the basis that it was some kind of grooming, and that, like, Shadow is some kind of adult hedgehog that shouldn't be cultivating and maintaining a platonic friendship with a girl of Maria's young age. And look, I could sentence Grace Randolph to atone for her nonsense, but I kind of feel like the way Sega properties are with their identity and what they contribute that Mario doesn't, is that this is almost an intended outcome. It's not like Sega deliberately created the plot line to make the Grace Randolph grandmas of the world feel off-put and clutch their pearls. But it's just an example that Sonic games and stories are bizarre. They're over the top. You sit there and play Sonic Frontiers, and half the time you're like, what am I even looking at? This is so wild, I love it. And so the squares of society are naturally going to push back at the movie. They're going to take a quick glimpse at it and object because it doesn't align with their worldview. That's what a Sega property is. Ignoring the boring square adults, doing wild things, wild colors and Knuckles Chaotix and Sonic CD. Grace Randolph could never enjoy Knuckles Chaotix because it's not for her. Grace Randolph can instead default to the safe, sterile new Super Mario games that sold by the tens of millions on the Nintendo Wii 1. Otto, yeah, is going to cook up a guide boss guide. Yeah, EB says you always get those casuals and film reviewers who are very out of touch. And Keo says it's important to point out that the mature, brooding Shadow is not the same Shadow from 50 years ago. So 50 years ago, Shadow was like a bubbly young kid. I never assumed that. I assumed that he's just an android fresh out of the factory. And that he's, yeah, I don't know. I assumed that the first day Gerald Robotnik hit the power button to activate and turn on Shadow, that he was just the Shadow he is. And only just like, I don't want you to think that I'm like necessarily ignoring your chats, but I will choose not to acknowledge some of them if you're just stating things that really are just the basis for you to realize that you don't like my content, right? But I'm not going to change my content to cater to your res. All right. Okay, but even if the random squares and people out of touch doing their movie reviewers can't make sense of this film, Well, longtime Sonic fans had a whole lot of hype for this, and of course, part of that hype extends to the post-credits scene. And I gotta say, my backlash contributed to the controversy surrounding Sonic Movie 3's post-credits scene, which, this is your final and only first spoiler warning. We got Metal and Amy, and look, those characters specifically being brought into the cinematic universe here, I think is fantastic. It did not even occur to me in the moment that, holy smokes, Batman, Amy and Metal Sonic? So this next movie is going to be an adaptation of Sonic CD? Look, I highly doubt they're going to use Sonic CD's minimal plot as the basis for the movie, but you cannot deny that both of those characters literally originated from Sonic the Hedgehog compact disc, CD. And yeah, Otto, yeah, go for it on Discord or Twitch Whisper or whatever you'd like. Okay, so don't get me wrong. Amy entering the movies is fantastic. But some people found the post-credits reveal for Amy to be underwhelming because it wasn't really anything other than, hey, look, it's Amy. And she didn't say anything. She had no dialogue. She just had a quick smile. And I'm sitting there in the theater being like, oh, what's she going to say? And then it cuts to black. Yeah. I think the fact that Tails said something at the end of the first movie sort of served up an expectation that we would get at least some nugget. Now, many of you will be quick to say, well, hey, hold on. At the end of movie 2, we had the Shadow reveal in the post-credits. Shadow didn't say any dialogue, so how could anyone object to Amy not saying anything? Well, the two situations are not quite the same, because although Shadow did not say any words aloud, we did nonetheless get a lot of exposition from that soldier on the site where the Death Egg robot fight happened. In the aftermath of that, the soldier provided a lot of exposition, which clearly telegraphs to fans like, okay, Gerald Robotnik, 50 years ago, Shadow, he's waking up, right? This is a post-credits reveal that's giving a whole lot of tangible info about where the story is going in the next movie with this new character. And so to see Shadow wake up, that in itself is plenty. But I'm sitting here after having seen Sonic Movie 3, and I'm thinking to myself, I have absolutely no idea what Amy's involvement in Sonic Movie 4 will even be. So that's why it sort of feels like a step down to some. I don't understand how anyone watching the movie could connect the dots and say, wow, we have an entire army of Metal Sonics, but Amy's gonna make it all okay because Hammer. I don't know that the Hammer is established in lore in a way that it could save the day to an army of Metal Sonics in a way that Sonic's typical light speed travel abilities, as established in the first movie and not utilized in the bar scene in the second movie, could have dispatched those Metal Sonic robots easily. And about those Metal Sonic robots, it's a whole army of them, and some are concerned that making there be more than one Metal just sort of cheapens the whole idea of Metal Sonic, is that now any one Metal Sonic is insignificant. It sort of undercuts previous lore in-game, where the entire showdown of Sonic CD is Sonic versus Metal. Metal in himself is a formidable opponent. And the other thing that's got investors a little bit uneasy is that CGI is not cheap. Anyone who's watched the Knuckles series, which is informally known as Wade and Knuckles, knows that the expensiveness of animating a CGI Knuckles is half the reason why the series called Knuckles doesn't have much Knuckles in it. So if we're now talking about an entire army of dozens of medals, well, that's not going to come cheap. And the justified concern is that the amount of metal in the movie will be brief and fleeting, so as to save cash. Time will tell, though. You're just going to have to get all your Metal Sonic enjoyment in the final scene when the army comes, like the White Walkers from Game of Thrones. Now, the next controversy is the song Live and Learn and its implementation into the movie. Yeah, Keo says you think they'll be just fine. Metal Sonic has no fur to animate. That's true. The fur gets them off the hook somewhat. That's why they made the first Pixar movie about plastic toys. Okay, so the next controversy to touch upon is involving the song Live and Learn from, of course, Sonic Adventure 2. Now, there's two separate controversies that happened, and the first was early on in the hype production cycle, in the hype promotion cycle for the film, where Sonic vocalist Bentley Jones, who has Sonic and the Secret Rings in his resume, at a minimum, he sent out a tweet that was him standing at a microphone recording vocals, and he tagged it as Sonic Movie 3. And since people had known by that point that Live and Learn was going to be in the movie, it seemed to possibly be hyping up the idea that he would be singing the song in the movie. All right, thank you, JJ. It's actually Sonic 06 or Black Knight. All right. So let me say that so I can patch it in. Sonic 06 and Sonic and the Black Knight. Interesting, under the name Lee Brotherton. I won't even touch that, but I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah, Keo's saying about Johnny Gioeli. We're going to get to him soon. So listen, I, Alex Yard, have a confession to make. I had a media literacy slip-up regarding Live and Learn to be appearing in the Sonic Movie 3 because after looking at Bentley Jones's teasing tweet and then seeing the Sonic Stadium cover it as a potential possibility, I somehow got it in my head that, yeah, guys, Bentley Jones is going to be singing Live and Learn in the new movie. I think I said that at least once on my live streams, and that was totally wrong. Thank God I found out about this in time, because I very nearly almost said in the Shadow the Hedgehog music theory video that come this Christmas we'll rock out to Bentley Jones singing Live and Learn. Whew, bullet dodged. We found out for sure that Bentley's vocals would not appear in the movie because Bentley eventually released a statement saying that, all right, guys, here's my cover of Live and Learn. Now that it's, quote-unquote, no longer associated with any official Sega projects, I can show it to you. So, who knows how much truth there is to that? Was it potentially on the table to be somehow connected to the movie or the soundtrack surrounding it, whether or not it was in the film or not. Who knows if that's all a delusion on Bentley Jones's end? But it does seem like Johnny Gioeli also didn't quite know exactly how the song would be used. I mean, Paramount reached out to him to secure the rights and everything. But for a while, he did not even know exactly how the movie would be manifest. And I don't know if the deal up front was just to have the song. It's clear enough now that the deal that they inked was not just to get the audio recording used in the movie. It's clear in retrospect that the deal was not just to use the official recording of the song, but Paramount was at liberty to do new arrangements of it, like they amazingly did in that opening sequence, seeing the acoustic finger-picking version, which you later find out is by Maria. Dude, absolutely amazing. That was one of a few moments where I'm like, yep, this is redeeming Sonic Movie 2. This is confirmed canonically a good movie. And wouldn't it be nice if there was only one controversy surrounding the song Live and Learn? However, mere days before the movie premiered on December 21, news broke that Johnny Gioeli had filed a lawsuit against Sega for what he termed as unauthorized use of the song Live and Learn in many other games beyond the original game it was created for, Sonic Adventure 2. Now, apparently, just about all of the music that Crush 40, Johnny, and Jun Senoue have done for Sonic games is mostly all covered under a contract where it's like, okay, you're hired to do this job. Once you create the song, Sega owns it in perpetuity. They can continue using it in future games. They have all the rights to it, which seems to be like some version of the deal that Nintendo has, because Nintendo is free to just turn around and use the DK rap in the Mario movie without crediting Grant Kirkhope. Hashtag never forget, Grant Kirkhope composed the DK rap. And I believe Jungle Japes, or whatever that Donkey Kong song was in the Mario movie, also went uncredited to David Wise. Now, Nintendo is within their rights to do that per the contractual arrangement they had when they had David Wise or Grant Kirkhope do the music for the movie. But look, a great many people, myself included, would vastly prefer that those composers be credited in the film, even if it's not contractually required on Nintendo's end. Okay, so Johnny Gioeli's lawsuit says that when they went about making the song Live and Learn and drawing up the contract, that one did not have the contractual arrangement where Sega just owns it in perpetuity. And so specifically, Johnny asserts that he has always maintained the rights to the composition. And further evidence of that is the fact that when Paramount decided they wanted to use Live and Learn in the movie possibly, well, they must have looked up the composer credits in the official database, found Johnny Gioeli's name, and sent him a ping on Discord to obtain the rights using all the official channels. And so at some point between the Paramount deal with Johnny and in the lead up to the movie, what Johnny has said is that a fan brought to his attention at least one other game, whether it was Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed, Smash Brothers, whatever it was. A fan brought this to the attention of Johnny, who then did a double take and was like, hey, I own the rights to that song. Sega's not supposed to be using this without permission and compensation. And so Johnny has filed the suit to A, establish for sure that he is the owner of Live and Learn, and if so, that he's entitled to retroactive compensation to the tune of a half a rock. $500,000, people. That's a lot of cash. I can only imagine what that translates to in yen. Critical thinkers out there know that that's a joke. It's conversion rate. Oh, bread in South Korea is 4,000 won. Can you believe 4,000? Crazy inflation, you know. And so, look, when this lawsuit news dropped right before the movie came out, I just kind of touched base with my community and was like, enjoy the movie. Don't fret about the lawsuit. Don't let that be a rain cloud hanging over your experience of the movie. And my advice worked because everyone enjoyed the movie, and whatever Johnny or Sega is entitled to will be sorted out in time. It's baffling that the song could be used in more than a dozen games, and somehow this would never enter Johnny's awareness whatsoever. But that is what he has said, and we shall see. Which brings us to our next controversy surrounding Sonic Cinematic Universe newcomer, Krysten Ritter. Now, if you ask Krysten Ritter in an interview why is she in the Sonic movie, she will say, I don't know. They asked me. She had no interest or awareness or relevance to the Sonic series until she got a call with an offer. Want to be in the movie? She said, okay, I'm looking for work, sure. Now, having seen the movie, you look at Krysten Ritter's character and you're like, what was the point of that? She was just kind of a generic soldier interacting with the characters in the military scenes, but she didn't have much of a distinctive character or even a role to play in the plot. In fact, when you look at what specific beats of the movie even involved Krysten Ritter, well, that's going to include a joke about women in the military, and also the fact that Krysten Ritter is hot. Because when Maddie transforms into Krysten Ritter's appearance, Tom likes what he sees, which is upsetting to Maddie Wachowski. So look, I'm not Grace Randolph clutching my pearls being upset that there's these offhanded jokes about women in the military, but it's like, if you're gonna go there, if you're gonna push that edge and be edgy, if you're going to push that boundary and say something provocative, make it funny and memorable. A woman in the military? I just... If the era of overconscious wokeness is winding down, sure, it's great to be able to stretch our wings again. But when you do simple, straightforward, shallow jokes like that, it sort of undercuts the mandate to push those comical boundaries. It's like, if you're going to push those boundaries, at least it's preferable that you have some message to say. Some point, some critique or satire, but instead it's just like, hey, John McCain is still not sure whether women should even be in the military. He wants there to be more studies conducted before we just jump into it. Eblo says a high-ranking soldier who was easily fooled by a hologram technology in a scenario where multiple known sci-fi expert characters are in play. Let me read that canonically. Now, in the studio audience, Eblo G points out that Kristen Ritter's character was a high-ranking soldier who was easily fooled by hologram technology in a scenario where there are multiple known characters that are sci-fi technology experts. And so here again, it's like, well, it's great that we're bringing in more women representation into the movie. There's nothing wrong with that. If anything, it's a good thing. And if anything, it can start to make up a little bit for the weak sauce female representation in movie 2. One of my worst movie-going experiences in my entire life was to boot up the title screen of Sonic Movie 2 the day it released on April 8, 2022. And we're in a boring suburban house, and Maddie enters holding a laundry basket. I lost some of my innocence that day. It was a before and after arc. And so you look at Kristen Ritter coming in, and it's like, oh, all right, we'll put her in a military role. Maybe we can have a female character whose contributions are not just being Tom's wife, doing laundry. And then you get the Kristen Ritter is hot joke. Kristen Ritter's in the military. And then Kristen Ritter getting very easily duped as a pushover by a hologram con that she really should have seen coming. She should not have so willingly issued that confidential information and access code, whatever the key code was. Right. And on top of that, she got fooled by a hologram of someone who was supposed to be dead. And so creating these female characters, bringing them in, but making them these pushovers who are easily walked over, it's not giving Lena Dunham any additional confidence in this film series. Yeah, Keo understands that soldiers should follow orders, but she should have been more suspicious. Critical thinking. Don't accept bullcrap. Ask follow-up questions. And so paired alongside all of these unfortunate, not that creative or insightful women jokes, then you got Eggman at the beginning of the movie talking about the dreaded fate of growing man boobs due to sitting around and eating too much food. And it's like, and it's like, as a viewer, it's not that I'm offended by that, but again, if we're putting this in a kid's movie, there ought to be good payoff. But this just seems a little bit immature. That one of those screenwriters just could not resist making an offhanded remark to man breasts. Don't get me wrong, it's based that they would put these things in the movie. But if you're going to approach things that way, it's going to be harder for me and others to defend it if it's not creative, memorable, or new. I thought it would mainly be Peter Griffin talking about boobs, not Jim Carrey. You misused Jim enough in movie 2. Don't have him sitting there eating Cheetos, man. Talking about his man curves. Yeah, Shadow Ops thinks that they were trying too hard to make it sound funny. Change the order of this. And to point out another controversy of that opening scene, which had Eggman up in Space Colony. Well, were they in the Space Colony at the beginning, or was that? It was some kind of space military. I just can't. It wouldn't have been the Ark, I guess. Anyway, I've only seen the movie once. I got to see it again. And another thing to point out about that intro Eggman scene is that it was cool that it was set in the epic military facility with all the nice lights, but you find out that that scene itself dodged a bullet because an earlier draft of the script was not set on an epic military base. It was set out in Mexico, like somewhere near the Gulf of America. And it was in a boring, hot, dry, desolate place where Eggman was in hiding following the events of movie 2. And it is so concerning that that was even on the table. Thank God it got cut, because I just think back to movie 2 where, again, very early on in movie 2's runtime, I was severely concerned because I'm like, why are we having Eggman alone monologuing on the Mushroom Planet with no other characters, no chemistry? Look, and we could talk about the pandemic and how that affected movie 2, and we certainly will in a dedicated video on the topic of said major motion picture film. However, just the fact that the boring Mexico isolation scene was on the table is an indication that the screenwriting team behind the cinematic universe needs to make it a point to attend more writing webinars. Or just ask around, ask your pals. They can give you clues about how to start a movie in medias res in a way that will not even risk having a boring monologue starter. Third Bruno's enjoying it. So it's funny to mention the pandemic as a limited issue that hindered movie 2, and then you turn around and Sonic movie 3 has its own issue, not a global virus that was artificially created in a, at one point, US-funded lab, but rather something even more sinister and devastating and earth-shattering, which is, of course, the Hollywood writers' strike. Was it the writers? I'm just going to say I forget what, actors or writers or both. Or it was the Hollywood strike. Yeah, Third Bruno says it's the first time you've heard Gulf of America casually, and that's, the magic of broadcast radio, live up to the moment. Yeah, are they going to update maps at middle schools? Anyway. The Hollywood strike. Hollywood was brought to a standstill. Who even remembers or cares if it was the actors and or the writers? But Hollywood was brought to a standstill. So what did the Paramount Sonic movie team do with this? Did they stand in solidarity with their peers in the industry demanding the conditions that they knew they deserved? No, they just up and packed up and went to London to shoot there instead because they could get around the rules by filming and operating in the United Kingdom, where Prince King Charles, is King Charles the current king? Where King Charles is, I can always patch in a different king's name. It's got to be King Charles. It's not King. All right, Keo confirms. Thank you. Sorry, JJ. Wow, JJ says, said king, canonical king, visited JJ's neck of the woods recently. And so I'm sitting here in the hype cycle for this movie thinking, all right, movie 2 was the pandemic movie. Movie 3 is the strike movie. When am I going to just get a regular Sonic movie? Now, you look at the finished product of Sonic Movie 3, and it doesn't really feel like the Hollywood strike had any tangible, big effect on what the total sum of the movie felt like. But do you think that will stop the writers from inserting a disappointing tongue-in-cheek fourth wall break where Tom all but looks at the camera and says, well, I guess we're going to London because the strike won't allow us to contractually operate in the United States of Obama. Keo says Keo's country also has a king. It's not like he's the only qualified person. King of Kings. The King of King K. Shout out to King K. You'll get there, King K. So I'm never a fan of those immersion-breaking fourth wall breaks. I didn't particularly like the second movie when Eggman was chomping on his popcorn. And I definitely didn't like the movie 3 moment where Eggman and Gerald are having their amazing reunion, and he all but acknowledges, yeah, I feel so connected to you in kinship. It's like we're the same actor playing 2 characters in a movie. I checked my phone when that line arrived. I checked my phone when that line was delivered. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. But I was displeased. So it's not that I needed the movie to be this super serious, play it straight, as serious and grim as Sonic Forces type of experience. However, there were plenty of people in the lead up to this movie worried that it was going to be too silly. They knew that the plot points would be adapting significant elements of Sonic Adventure 2, and then when they released that promotional video, when they released that promotional music video, was it the Jelly Roll song? I forget. But it definitely gave a preview of the dance scene with Gerald and Eggman. Which I wasn't going to look at that music video because I wanted to be freshly amazed and wowed by the hexagon laser dance sequence in movie 3. And it was very memorable. It washed off a lot of the stink from the horrible Bruno Mars dance sequence in the second film. So people looked at that dance sequence preview and they were worried that, no, they need to take it more seriously. Because somehow, even after the wedding scene in movie 2, people still thought it was a reasonable expectation to just get a purely straightforward Sonic Adventure 2 the movie. But those angry fans were not the only party displeased with the momentum of movie 3. There's also Disney. And in my Shadow the Hedgehog music theory video, which was published the summer in the lead up to movie 3, I did pose the upcoming battle at the box office of Sonic Movie 3, of Sonic 3 versus Lion King 9, which I think had the subtitle Mufasa the Hedgehog. Mufasa the Hedgehog. And so it is said that in the debut weekend, Sonic Movie 3 took the crown because both movies were projected to get about 50 million. But then the way it shook out was that the Sonic movie got 65 to Mufasa's 35. So that's totally hilarious because that does seem to be the Sonic movie taking a direct market share away from Disney and the Mouseketeers. From Disney and the Mouseketeers. From Disney and the Mouseketeers. Right? They literally took a bigger slice of the limited pie on offer. And so then Disney took action to kind of use their muscle to claw back to the top of the charts. And I don't fully understand what they did. Whether it was pushing Lion King to more theaters is what people will often say. But do they actually mean pushing it to more screens? This whole thing played? Been doing this an hour, huh? Epic. Well, the whole video is not going to be an hour, so that should be fun. So who knows how much Disney would or wouldn't have pressed for Mufasa to take up more theaters and also to take up showtimes on premium screen theaters, whether it's IMAX or whatever else. Now, would that mean that in some theaters, Sonic Movie 3 was available on IMAX? Because if so, I got ripped off. I clearly live in the wrong city. And so eventually, Mufasa did take the global box office crown. But that's not super surprising because Sonic, despite coming from Japan, is not popular in Japan. So Mufasa had a massive leg up in the Japanese market. Now, I'm saying that, it's kind of a joke. The joke with that is it's like, as if Japan is like the swing state that's going to determine who takes the global box office crown. It's a joke. But it is true. It is true. And that's despite the fact that in Japan, Sonic Movie 3 is called Sonic Cross Shadow Tokyo Mission. Which is so cool in Japanese, you'd think it would do gangbusters. And what's the second movie called in Japan? Sonic versus Knuckles. It's pretty cool. So we're just about done with this extensive chronicle of every last controversy, big or small, surrounding this fantastic major motion picture, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And by now you can intuit that, and by now you've kind of figured out that throughout this video, we have applied the Spawnwave media definition of the word controversy, which is to say that at least one person pushed back, objected, or didn't like it. But this final controversy is perhaps the one that the most people can agree on, that this was a problem, that the promised promise did not deliver. And that is, of course, the Sonic Movie 3 level pack. No one thought it was a good bang for their buck. $6 for a level pack, quote-unquote level pack, and it has one level? Are they calling it a pack because it has the main level you run through, and then it has those sub-missions, which are set in a specific pocket of the level, and maybe they arrange some of the architecture differently for a different gameplay, but it's still the same environment, same mechanics and narrative and vibe. You start to wonder if that was just a $6 tax to afford Keanu Reeves in the movies themselves, in the movie itself. I, Alex Yard, have never bought the Sonic Cross Shadow Generations movie level pack. I can't justify it. $6 Obama dollars, guys, for one level? Knowing that that'll probably go down to $2 on some Black Friday extravaganza? As much as I'd love to hear Neo from the Matrix's voice while running through the Tokyo environments, I think the consensus is clear enough that the DLC movie level pack, in the words of Reggie Fils-Aimé, did not deliver. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. And I was wondering, maybe you guys can make a suggestion. As far as a sentencing, I guess I would pose the question to you guys. Like, what, out of all those quote-unquote controversies that I just mentioned, who is the biggest infraction? Like, whose backlash is the most unreasonable? Or which problem with the movie is the most, unforgivable? I'm looking at these. I don't want to sentence Matt Walsh or Grace Randolph because they are lost causes, and it is the natural order of things for them to vocally express their displeasure over the film. I could sentence Paramount to having better women representation in the next movie. I don't want to sentence Disney. There's no point in that. They won't learn. So when it comes as to who to sentence, it would be a matter of looking at this entire list of controversies and figuring out which party involved in any of these scenarios was guilty of the biggest infraction, which requires a sentencing in order to atone for what they have done. Yeah, that's a good point. Third Bruno says next movie is the best time to have that because Amy, Keo echoes that. Twins, Jinx, you owe Keo a soda. No, Keo owes Third Bruno a soda. Pick your soda. And so you can let me know in the comments which controversy deserves a concrete sentencing. For me, I'm going to come out and say that the person that who deserves a sentencing the most to atone for what they have done? Well, that would be Paramount on account of the disappointing female representation in movie 3, which is especially inexcusable given the even worse female representation in movie 2. So Paramount, I sentence you to taking significant meaningful steps to ensure that movie 4 doesn't have any of these unforced errors with uncreative, stereotypical women bashing. I say women bashing, but it's also just a matter of cheapening women to just boiling them down to their womanhood. Like, haha, Kristen Ritter's hot. Kristen Ritter's in the military. You're going to have to do better in movie 4 because this is Amy's time to shine. Honestly, my gut is that they're going to do Amy justice. But if they mess this up, the internet is going to riot. And look, there's no guarantee that there's going to be a Sonic Movie 5. I have heard from Speed Supersonics reporting that although Sonic Movie 3 did decently good, it didn't do like wicked good. So it's just not the massive cash cow that it could be, which is ridiculous to think about. My opinion is it did really good. It's just not an Avengers money printer. And I guess it didn't even beat Mufasa. So you do have to think about the global box office. Oh yeah, it definitely turned a profit. Absolutely. Like, it is undoubtedly, a successful movie, as would be described in a business meeting at Paramount. Definitely. But it's not... Yeah, I recommend listening to that, I can't remember which video it is. And there have been, well, I don't want to say any unconfirmed rumors. It's policy. So yeah, the stage is set. Sonic Movie 4 could be a fantastic vehicle for Amy, Kristen Ritter, and finally Maddie. Let's put Maddie to much better use. She's a veterinarian, guys, and the movies seem to have forgotten this completely. You're telling me you can't utilize that as a plot point as directly pertaining to numerous fluffy, colorful talking animals? Come on, people. Paramount just needs to send their staff to a few more writing webinars, and Sonic Movie 4 is going to be a hit. So listen, you can't please everyone. Controversies like these are going to happen. All we can do is say our piece, persuade the community, and help move the needle in a better direction. So I look forward to no cringe, lazy oversimplification of women content in the next film. But at least we'll get to hear Amy say things. So yeah, I don't know if your local movie theater is taking pre-orders for tickets to go see Sonic Movie 4, but get on that. My hype train is certainly in full steam. And so with that, I'm going to say goodnight. This has been Alex Yard here at 91.6 WAYZ, the Alex Yard Zone. Thank you for listening. Let me know if there were any controversies that I missed, or controversies that you feel shouldn't have even been in the discussion. YouTube is the perfect avenue for said low-stakes sparring. Take care, everybody. Play hedgehog games. And cut. That was great, everybody. Sonic Movie 3. The Controversies. Explained. Explained is going to be the capital letter. Shadow Op says The Lion King was good as a child's movie, but you don't believe you could stomach a side story or remake of any Disney franchise. But could I interest you in a prequel? Because I guess that's what the Mufasa movie is. And by the way, before I forget, look who it is. New channel mascot selected by Javid himself, and that's, of course, Gonmon from Mystical Ninja. Do we have anyone in the house that's ever played a Mystical Ninja game? Because I think I was only vaguely aware of them, maybe seeing them in Nintendo Power, but I don't know much about them. But yeah, as we're winding down now, I want to say thanks everyone for hanging out. Sorry again we didn't get to KO Kangaroo, although Sam64 would be the main person to offer my condolences to. But yeah. Shadow Ops, have yourself a great evening. Thanks for popping in. Keo and Bruno and JJ, I appreciate you hanging out throughout and during the discussion. Only Just Light, have yourself a good night. Eblo G, see you next time. Otto, yeah, is probably gone by now. But yeah, everyone else who's watching, beyond those who are in chat, thanks for sharing great vibes. I quite enjoyed it. And Keo's last gasp is to say, Keo thinks the biggest offender is the Shadow DLC, not letting you use the skin on all levels. Oh, as movie Shadow? Because when you do the level pack, like, Shadow looks like movie Shadow, but you can't use that throughout the game. I guess they would not want you to use the movie skin without Keanu's voice. I could understand that choice. Yeah, Bruno confirms that he looks and sounds. You're quite welcome, Shadow Ops. Yeah, to have the movie appearance without Keanu, I can at least see the... Eblo says, you can use the Terios skin without the Terios voice. So what is the Terios skin? Is that just literally an alternate skin that only changes the appearance but not the voice? Isn't Terios... Yeah, does Terios have his own dedicated voice? Isn't Terios like an alternate... I don't know. You may have a point. I don't know my Terios lore. I forgot about that skin. Third Bruno wonders if there's even a Terios voice. Okay, Terios was never voiced. That was all a bit that we fell prey for, because we don't have enough Terios stats. All right, so he was just a prototype for Shadow. Eblo confirms it was an earlier character design for Shadow in SA2. For a second, I wondered if there was some bit of Terios in 06, but I'm most likely confusing that with Mephiles. But JJ knows a lot more about 06 than I do. Good night, everybody! But seriously, I have to go. Shadow Ops and everyone else watching on YouTube, I thank you so much. And I look forward to more. Wednesday is going to be awesome. I'm going to have Sonic R wagers versus JJ. That's going to be awesome. And, yeah, some Sonic after the sequel, some Riders. It's going to be great. So Keo and JJ and everyone I already mentioned, Eblo, Third Bruno, EB. Thanks once and again. This has been Alex Yard here at the Alex Yard.